Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 24. Raja Margam Gati Krishne Dwarakaya Kulastriyaha Harmyani Aruruhur Vipra Tad Ikshana Mahotsavaha.
Hare Krishna. When Lord Krishna passed over the public roads, all the ladies from the respectable families of Dwarka went up to the roofs of their palaces just to have a look at the Lord. They considered this to be the greatest festival.
Text 25. Nityam Niriksamanam Yad api dvarakokasam na vitrpyanti drishaha Shriyo Damangamachutam.
The inhabitants of Dwarka were regularly accustomed to look upon the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they were never satisfied.
Text
As
26.
stated,
Shriyo Nivaso Yasyoraha Panapatram Mukham Drisham Bahavo Lokapalanam Saranganam Parambujam.
the Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for the eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are resting place for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship.
Text 27. Sitatapatra Vyajaner Upaskritaha Prasunavaser Abhivarsitapati Vishangavasa Manamalaya Bhavo Gana Yatarko Dupa Chapavadyutai.
As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwarka, his head was protected from by the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feather fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flower made it appear as if dark clouds were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows.
Text 28. Pravishtastu grahim pitroho parisvakta svamatrabihi vavande shirasa sapta devaki pramukha muda.
After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother.
Text 29. Ta putram ankamaropya snehasnuta payodaraha harsha vivalitatmanaha shishurnetra jalahe.
The mothers, after embracing their son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord.
Text 30. Atavisat svabhavanam sarvakanam anutamam prasada yatrapati ninam sahasrani chasodasa.
Thereafter, the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000.
Text 31. Patnya patim proshya grahono pagatam vilokya sanjata mano mahotsavaha utastur arat sahasasanasyat sakam vrater vridita lochananaha.
The queens of Lord Sri Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husband home after a long period abroad. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditation. As was socially customary, they covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly.
Text 32. Tam atmajir drishtibhir antaratmana duranta bhava parirebhirepatim nirudam apyasravad ambunetrayor vilajatinam bhrugovarya viklavat.
The insuperable ecstasy was so strong that the queens, who were shy, first embraced the Lord in the innermost recesses of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually, and then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But, O chief among us the Brigus, though they tried to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears.
Text 33. Yadyapyasau parsvagato rahogatas tatapi tasyangri yugam navam pade pade ka virame tatat patach chalapi yachir na jahati karichit.
Although Lord Krishna was constantly by their sides, as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be nearer and nearer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's feet. So what woman can be detached from those feet, having once taken shelter of them?
Text 34. Evam napanam shitibara janmanam aksau hinnibi pavitra tejasam vidaya vairam swasano yatanalam mitto vadeno parato nirayudaha.
The Lord was pacified after killing those kings who were burdensome to the earth. They were puffed up with their military strength, their horses, elephants, chariots, infantry, etc. He himself was not a party in the fight. He simply created hostility between the powerful administrators, and they fought amongst themselves. He was like the wind, which causes friction between bamboos and so sparks a fire.
Text 35. Saesa naralokismin avatrina svamayaya Reme Sri Ratnakutasto Bhagavan Pakrito Yata.
That supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, appeared on this planet by his eternal potency and enjoyed himself among us competent women as if he were engaging in mundane affairs.
Text 36. Udama Bhava Pishun Namala Valguhasa Vriddha Valoka Nihato Madano Piyasam Samoya Chapam Ajahat Brahmadotamasta यस्येन्द्रियं विमर्दितुं कुहकैर्न सकुः.
Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even in the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attraction, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord.
Text 37. Tamayam manyate loko yasangamapi sanginam atmapam yena manujam vyaprinvanam yato buddha.
The common materialistic conditioned soul speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached.
Text 38. Etad ishanami sarsya prakritistopi gunahi na yujyate sadatmaster yatha buddhistadashraya.
This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities.
Text 39. Tamminire palamudaha strainam chanuvratam rahaha apramana vido partur ishvaram matayo yatha.
The simple and delicate woman truly thought that Lord Sri Krishna, their beloved husband, followed them and was dominated by them. They were unaware of the extent of the glories of their husband, as the atheists are unaware of him as the supreme controller. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Please forgive any mistakes.
Mine too. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji is not here, I guess. I will try and call him. Sailesh Prabhuji, would you mind starting the prayers for us, please? Mangalacharan prayers.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraya Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana Hridayantasto hyabadrani vidunoti suratsatam Naste prayashvabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhagatir bhavati naistiki Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayet girim Yatkripatam aham vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. Yatkripatam aham vande Paramanandam Madhavam. Om Jnana Trimandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tat Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for reciting the Mangalacharan prayers.
Thank you for allowing me to serve, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are reading from chapter 11, verse number 27 through to 29 of Canto 1, chapter 11, verse number 27 through to 29. सीतातपत्रव्यजनेर उपक्षतः सीतातपत्रव्यजनेर उपस्कृतः प्रसन्नवर्षेरभिवर्षितः पथि विशङ्गवासा वनमालया भवौ घनो यथा कोदुपचापवैद्युतैः. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwarika, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud was surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. Purport. The sun, moon, rainbow, and lightning do not appear in the sky simultaneously. When there is sun, the moonlight becomes insignificant. And if there are clouds and a rainbow, there is no manifestation of lightning. The Lord's bodily hue is just like a new monsoon cloud. He is compared herein to the cloud. The white umbrella over his head is compared to the sun. The movement of the bunch hair fan of flukes is compared to the moon. The showers of flowers are compared to the stars. His yellow garments are compared to the rainbow. So all these activities of the firmament being impossible simultaneous factors cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. The Lord is all-powerful, and in His presence anything impossible can be made possible by His inconceivable energy. But the situation created at the time of His passing on the road of Dwarka was beautiful, and it could not be compared to anything besides the description of natural phenomena. प्रविष्टस्त्रग्रहं पित्रौ परिष्वक्तः स्वमातृभिः ववन्दे शिरसा सप्त देवकी प्रमुखा मुदा. After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mother present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother. Purport. It appears that Vasudeva, the father of Krishna, had completely separate residential quarters, where he lived with his 18 wives, out of whom Srimati Devaki is the real mother of Lord Krishna. But in spite of this, all other stepmothers were equally affectionate to him. As will be evident from the following verse. Lord Krishna also did not distinguish his real mothers from his stepmothers, and he equally offered his obeisances unto all the wives of Vasudeva present on the occasion. According to scriptures, also there are 7 mothers: the real mother, the wife of spiritual master, the wife of Brahman, the wife of king, the cow, the nurse, the earth. All of them are mothers. Even by this injunction of the Shastra, the stepmother, who is the wife of the father, is also as good as the mother, because the father is also one of the spiritual masters. Lord Krishna, the Lord of the universe, plays the part of an ideal son, just to teach others how to treat their stepmothers. तामपुत्रमङ्कमारोप्य स्नेहस्नुता पयोधराः हर्षविह्वलितात्मानः शिशिचुर्नेत्रजर्जलः. The mothers were embracing their son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord. I'll just say Pranam Mantra. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Charine Nirvishesha Shri. So we are at a place where Krishna is coming back from Hastinapur, and we discussed this last week, how the people in Hastinapur, or devotees in Hastinapur, were feeling the loss of association of Krishna, because Krishna has decided to go to Dwarika, and so the sun is setting in Hastinapur. At the same time, the sun is rising in Dwarika, and we expressed that how Krishna is so very attractive. When the Dwarikavasis were receiving Krishna, they could not resist. Their eyes, they were feeling as if they were like dead bodies. And as soon as they saw Krishna coming into Dwarika, they all leaped out of their cities, and their senses became illuminated, completely illuminated. The word illumination was used because as soon as there is some light, all the darkness goes away. Similarly, and when the darkness goes away, one can see properly. One can see things as it is. So illumination here also means that they came to the senses by seeing Krishna, because they always perceived Krishna as the absolute reality. Now, when they see the absolute reality, they can feel the connection. The Krishna is spiritual, and they are all spiritual. Everything, other things are matter. And with the matter, there is no such exchange which can derive this kind of happiness, unlimited happiness. So they were so attracted by Krishna. And in that attraction, they would always feel as if the absence of Krishna is like being a dead body. So as the same process is continuing, and Krishna is now entering into Dwarika, and the good fortune of every living entity of Dwarka is being described here. So now Krishna has come further, and we can see how the mothers are embracing Krishna, and this mother is no other than what we know her as Devaki. Devaki and Vasudev. Whenever we take the name of Devaki Vasudev, the only scene that comes to the mind is the prison in Mathura, because that's where it all started. And the Kamsa went there and started to kill all the children of Devaki. And Vasudev, who was given his promise, who could not break his vows, he and Devaki, they both were in the prison. And Vasudev word is also used for Vasudev platform. Prabhupada has used this word, Vasudev platform. One has to be at Vasudev platform to invite Krishna in their heart. What it means that it is Shuddha Sattva. It is a platform where you're completely pure and you can invite Krishna. So these devotees, they are not ordinary beings. They are all very pure in their heart, and Krishna has accepted them as theirs, and they have accepted Krishna as theirs. So there's already a very, very deep relationship with these devotees. Now, when Krishna interacting with these devotees, it's just like a mother and a child. There is a relationship that already exists. You do not have to define that relationship now. In that relationship, mother is always thinking about the child's benefit, and child is often thinking about the mother's affection and love that he receives, and finding the ways to reciprocate in one way or the other, because that relationship demands that kind of reciprocation, or that kind of reciprocation build that kind of relationship. Here, similarly, these devotees, they are ardent devotees, they are pure devotees. They have somewhere or the other prayed and did austerities, and somehow the other, Krishna has unconditionally accepted them. And therefore, they're feeling this affection for Krishna. All these mothers, they're feeling their strong affection for Krishna. And this affection is not unnatural. It's a very natural affection. We also see that in Brahma Vimohan Leela, which is described in the Canto 10 and chapter 13th, we all are familiar with Brahma Vimohan Leela. So as I was reading this pastime, so how the mothers, out of purification. The milk is springing out of their breast. Also, there are tears in the eyes. We feel this emotion of tears on two occasions. Either we are very sad or grieved or shocked, or we start to cry out of pain in the heart. That's one side of the emotion. The other side is sometimes, I remember when we were boys and students in the university, and some days, nights or evenings, late nights in the halls of residence, we just laugh about anything and everything. And sometimes the tears come out and you just can't stop laughing. It happens with everybody. And you want to stop laughing, but you can't. And then suddenly you see these tears are coming through the eyes because of laughing. So out of goodness, out of happiness, also the tears come. We see people crying when they're sad, but the tears also spring out because if you're very happy, and similarly, they can't contain this happiness that is being felt in the presence of the Lord after seeing after such a long time. So the tears are coming out, and it's not a little bit of tears. They're wetting the Lord. Like in Satya Yuga, it is said that the cows will give so much of milk that it will wet the grounds with milk. Here the eyes are wetting the Lord. Now, as I was trying to go to Brahma Vimohan Leela, in that Leela we see that Krishna, Lord Brahma, he wanted to test whether the Krishna is experiencing on planet Earth is the Supreme Lord or not. And so Brahma has made a plan to actually steal away all the cowherd boys and all the calves. So when Krishna, he was, it is said that when Krishna looked around, he found that all the boys were missing and all the calves were missing. And immediately Krishna understood that who is doing this. He understood that it is the work of Lord Brahma. So immediately Krishna expands himself as the mother of the calves, as the cowherd boys, and as the calves and as the calves and the boys. So nobody, even the mother of the cows and the mother of the cowherd boys, could never get to know that Krishna has expanded himself. It is said because of his Vasudeva feature, Krishna expanded himself into the exact number of missing cowherd boys and calves, with their exact bodily features, with their particular type of hands, legs, and other limbs, and their sticks, their boogles, their flutes, their lunch bags, the particular types of dress and ornaments placed in various ways, their names, ages, and forms, and their special activities and characteristics. So this is amazing. Exactly the way in verse first that we read, it's amazing to have this unusual natural phenomena to be together. It cannot just happen. The lightning and the thunder and the rainbow and sunshine, it's not seen usually. But because Krishna is because it's Krishna, therefore everything is possible in the presence of Krishna. Similarly here, we can see how this is impossible. It's impossible to have exact replica expansion. And that also validates that how Krishna knows every living entity to the core. He knows their desires, he knows their habits, he knows their characteristics, he knows how they feel, how they react to a situation. Because these boys who Krishna expanded into, they were exact replicas. Nobody could tell, even their mothers could not figure that out. So this way, Krishna expanded himself into cows and calves and cowherd boys, and he went back to Vrindavan. He entered into Vraj Bhumi, and Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaj, they all greeted him back. But there was something amazing that was happening. When the mother of the boys, they heard the sound of the flutes and bugles being played by their sons, they immediately left everything that they were doing. And they started picking up their boys in their laps and embracing them with both arms. And all of a sudden, they want to feed their breast milk to the boys. It is mentioned here, as you can see in text number 22, and all this milk is flowing spontaneously because of extreme love for Krishna. So this is quite amazing scenario because they never felt like this before. And then Krishna drank the milk from their respective mothers like a nectarian beverage. So this affection that comes out of the heart of devotees is not unusual. It is mentioned in these pastimes also that all these mothers, they took care of the boys, massaging them, bathing them, decorating them, and somehow or the other, they could not resist but to serve Krishna in the expansion form of their own children. And not only that, all the cows, they were feeling such extreme emotion and affection for their calves that the cows generally would give milk to the younger calves. But if the older calf was the expansion of Krishna, the cows were giving milk to these calves rather than giving to the younger calves. And that was very unusual. It is said here in text 26 that although previously the cowherd gopis and the cowherd men, they have affection for Krishna. They had more affection for Krishna than their old children, but now for this one complete year, their affection for their own sons increased so much because Krishna had now become their sons. And there was no limit to the increment of their affection for their sons, who were now Krishna. Every day, they would find new inspiration for loving their children as much as they loved Krishna. So in this way, we can see how Krishna, by expanding himself, gave so much of love and affection to the cowherd boys and girls. And similarly, here we see when Krishna is entering Dwarika, all the mothers, they're feeling affection, they're embracing Krishna. Krishna is sitting on their laps, and this way they are feeling great pleasure in welcoming Krishna. There's beautiful description of Krishna's beauty in the very first verse. And there are various analogies giving about Krishna's beauty. His complexion is described as emerald, a tamal tree, or a group of beautiful dark clouds. And he is an ocean of nectarian handsomeness, who wears yellow garments and a garland of forest flowers. He's decorated with jewels, and he's a great reservoir of the nectar of many transcendental pastimes. Krishna has very long and curly hair, always anointed with fragrant scents, and his handsome crown is decorated with many different flowers. His forehead is splendidly decorated with tilak markings and curling locks of hair. The playful movements of his raised dark eyebrows enchant the heart of his devotees and all the gopis. His rolling eyes are red and blue lotus flowers. The tip of his nose is as handsome as the beak of Garuda, the king of birds. His charming ears and cheeks are decorated with earrings made of various jewels. His handsome lotus face is splendid as millions of moons. He speaks many charming words, and his chin is exquisitely handsome. So these are some description of Krishna's beauty. His smooth and charming neck bends in 3 places, decorated with necklace of pearls. The beauty of his neck enchants the residents of the 3 planetary systems, decorated with necklace of pearls and with the Kaustubh gem, which shines like lightning. Krishna's handsome chest longs to enjoy the company of the beautiful gopis. Then it says the chick decorated with bracelets and armlets, Krishna's arms hangs down to his knees. His reddish lotus hands are decorated with various auspicious signs. Krishna's hands are beautifully decorated with auspicious signs of club, conch shell, and so many beautiful signs are there. His abdomen is pastime of abode of handsomeness. His nectarian back seems to long for the playful touch, and nectarious lotus flower that is Lord Krishna's hips bewilders the demigod Cupid. Krishna's thighs are 2 beautiful plantain trees that charm the hearts of everyone. So like that, we can see that there are beautiful descriptions of Krishna's beauty, and it is very, very difficult to not feel attracted to Krishna. Now, mundane people can think of Krishna's beauty like any other men, but it's not the case because Krishna is absolute. Sat, Chit, and Anand is not made of earth, fire, water, air, ether elements. He's completely absolute. He's complete bliss. His beauty is therefore so concentrated. His beauty is one aspect of his attraction. Then there are many other aspects of his attraction, as we all know. Him being Bhagavan, the 6 opulences reside in him. So all of this makes Krishna extremely, extremely attractive, and whoever comes into the attraction of Krishna, they cannot look away from Krishna. We have many examples, even in today's time, when devotees, when they see that now the imminent death is coming, we have seen how His Holiness Kadam Kanan Swami Maharaj has taken shelter of Rajabhumi. It is a very, very difficult decision to not care about the body and just to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna at the time which is so critical. If devotees have not felt their attraction for Krishna, they have not felt their attraction for spiritual life, if they have not felt that there is something beyond this material world, there is hope that there is the hope that Krishna exists. And if they do not have this conviction that Krishna exists, how can they take such bold decisions? You can pretend for some time. One can definitely pretend for some time, but you cannot pretend all the time, specifically at the time when death is going to get you. So we see how His Holiness Kadam Kanan Maharaj took shelter of Rajadham, and he spent his time purely in complete devotion. And if you all have heard the last speech by Maharaj, how much hope he's bringing to all of us. Get attracted to Krishna. Let nothing else come in between you and Krishna. Krishna is real. Krishna is real. And he's saying that there's always partying with Krishna. Come along. I will be waiting for you. Such conviction. And he's a person who's now about to leave the body, like Parikshit Maharaj was about to leave the body. He heard Srimad Bhagavatam. Such great characters. And we are so extremely fortunate to have such close association of these kind of devotees who are able to experience love of Krishna, beauty of Krishna. Krishna's holy name are not different from Krishna. So in that non-difference, they can see this non-difference, and they can therefore feel attracted to the holy names of Krishna. And that holy name of Krishna is giving so much of power or empowerment to them that they can, at such critical time, completely surrender into Krishna, completely surrender into Krishna. So this is the attraction of Krishna's beauty. And if a conditioned soul get attracted to Krishna's beauty, he will not get attracted to anything else, as we see in the examples before us. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhinatva Nama Naminaha Abhinatva Nama Naminaha. The Krishna's name and Krishna himself is non-different. The reason we're reading the attraction of Krishna is because that same attraction exists in Krishna's holy name, because Krishna has declared this. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chintan Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta is eternally liberated, Nitya Mukta, Purna Shuddha. It is beyond the modes of material nature. Abhinatva is non-different, Nama Namina. The non-difference is between the name and the person. The holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benediction, but it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete, and it is the form of all transcendental mallows, not a material name under any condition. It is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material quality, there is no question of its being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. And this is a quotation from Padma Puran. So we can see that because of the conditioned nature, we are not able to see these facts which are being described in Shastras. And we do not feel the same attraction as the attraction felt by the mothers of Krishna when the Krishna expanded into the cowherd boys, or the calves. The mother cows felt the attraction for the calves. The citizens of Dwarika, they are feeling that kind of attraction. The pure devotees of the Lord feels the same kind of attraction towards Krishna's holy name in this age of Kali. And this is the examples we see before us. And that's a great source of inspiration for us, a source of meditation for us, that this is exactly how the attraction of Krishna works through his holy names also. But because conditioned souls are in very high fever of the illusory energy of Krishna, they are unable to relish the affection of Krishna's holy name. And the only remedy is that they continue to chant the holy names of Krishna. Then at some point in time, just like a person who is suffering from pilia, who's suffering from pilia, he eats sugarcane juice, he drinks sugarcane juice, and in due course of time, he starts to feel from bitter sugarcane juice to the natural sweetness of the sugarcane. Similarly, a conditioned soul, when he'll continuously chant holy names of the Lord, he will start to relish. At some point in time, all the attraction of Krishna, person Krishna, will start to manifest in the holy names of Krishna for this particular soul. And then he would not feel like making their goals and plans in this material world. Okay, so I'll just stop here. If there are any question, we can take that, or comments, please. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for elaborating so much on Krishna's beauty. We see that when Narad Muni was narrating the beauty of Krishna, Rukmini Devi fell in love with Krishna. And then she wrote to Krishna to come and abduct her. This is the beauty of Krishna. Hopefully we will have a tiny bit of that understanding so that we can love Krishna as much. Hare Krishna, very nice class.
Hare Krishna. Okay, is there any other comment? No problem. So we'll finish our discussion here for today. I want to thank all of you for your presence and association. Vanchakaltarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha
Patitanam Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
very much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.